IGs stand for unvarnished truth, reporting the facts, crunching the numbers, right? The rule of law and compliance. That's what they do for a living. And it just rubs Trump the wrong way that someone's going to get the truth out.
Today, the president ousted the leader of a committee of inspectors general that was tasked with overseeing the so far $2 trillion in coronavirus spending. Glenn Fine was the acting inspector general of the Defense Department. Trump named the current inspector general of the EPA to temporarily take over Fine's Pentagon duties. New York Times reports Fine was known for his independence and says the move is, quote, the latest step in an abruptly unfolding White House power play over semi-independent inspectors general across the government. For more, we welcome to the broadcast Neil Barofsky. He was the inspector general in charge of oversight for TARP, which, as I recall, was a chunk of money as well. The government relief bill signed into law by George W. Bush during the 2008 financial crisis. Neil also happens to be the author of Bailout, an inside account of how Washington abandoned Main Street while rescuing Wall Street. Neil, how do you possibly get your arms around an amount of money this vast? How can you possibly count on all of it getting to the right people and recipients? And in your line of work, do you write down, as much as I hate to say it, a certain percentage of this that is just assumed to be ill-gotten gains for somebody?
You know, I think there's a general rule of thumb in government programs that a good 10% there's a good chance it's going to get lost to fraud. And when you have a program of this size and this scope, where the money is being rushed out at such an incredible volume with, relatively few oversight or anti-fraud provisions, you really don't run a high risk of hitting that number. And here, that number, when you're talking about not a couple $100 million program or what I had, a few $100 billion program, but a multi-trillion-dollar program, it's a potentially terrifying amount to keep your eyes on as a watchdog, even in the best of circumstances. And these are not the best of circumstances, as you were just discussing.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.